someone from my team. Can I invite Tina? I think. Hello, Tina.
Hello.
Yes. Say hi.
Hi everyone.
Yes. And could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what happened to you?
Well, okay, so like most people, I took on a full-time corporate job, right, after I graduated from the university and worked in that job for 20 over years. And of course, I also have a family. I have 2 boys who are, they're all both grown up now. And right now, I am semi-retired.
Semi-retired?
Yes.
So while you're working, was there any time you thought that perhaps sudden crisis, or were you having just a smooth sailing life?
Okay, well, I only talk about health crisis with my insurance agent. Right? Does that sound familiar to all of you?
Or buy the insurance.
Yeah, they always ask, do you have a critical illness coverage? So that was the only time I would talk about health matters.
Okay. So
otherwise, right, as long as my heart is beating, I'm alive, I only go and see a doctor when I fall sick.
Okay.
And sad to say, like Linda, works always take priority.
Okay.
And then we have our daily responsibility. And really, that was exactly how I used to live my life.
And then what happened?
What happened was I was diagnosed.
Tissue paper?
Huh?
Do you need tissue paper?
No need. At the age of 46, I was diagnosed with cancer. Now, it came as a complete shock to me because there was no history of cancer in my family, right? So I was asking, why me? And also, why now? Because at that point in time, I was at the peak of my career. So I actually learned the hard way that, cancer doesn't discriminate. It can happen to anyone at any time. Yes.
And what happened to you after that?
So,
what started you on a different journey in life?
The thing is, you all know chemotherapy is very harsh on our body, isn't it? The treatment is a treatment, but it's very, very harsh on our body. Now, chemotherapy, particularly for breast cancer, right, has this very significant negative effect on our bone mass. It will decrease our bone mass. It not only decreases our bone mass right after treatment, it continues to do so for several years after the treatment. Right, so what happened was I was aware of the side effect and I started a lot of strength training, as you can see there. I even paid personal trainers to help me. I bought 50 personal trainer session at one go because I was desperate. I didn't want, my bone density to continue falling. But despite that, it kept falling, as you can see from the data behind. It not only fall, it continues falling at a faster rate than, my strength training. And eventually, I got diagnosed with osteoporosis, right? And then that was 2020, you all know, is COVID. By 2024, I felt really something wasn't good, with me. I went to, commission another bone density, and that was when I realized that it's even worse. I got diagnosed with osteoporosis plus a 4 risk warning. Now, 4 risk basically mean I will have a higher tendency to fall down because my bones are weak. And secondly, even if it's a low impact fall, there's a very high chance that I may still fracture my bone. Now, what happened then? I went to the polyclinic because I wanted to get a referral to a specialist. I want to do something about it since strength training wasn't helping me. And guess what? The doctor refused to give me a referral letter. Can you believe that? Until today, I cannot understand why he refused to give me a letter.
A referral to?
To a specialist. To, at least help me, to fix the problem. In fact, what he wanted to do was he wanted to prescribe me medication, but I refused. I have enough of medication after chemotherapy, right? So I literally just pay for the consultation and walk out of the polyclinic. Right? And it was about that time that my husband came to know about Avita, and we came over here for a product experience. And when we were listening to the testimonial, I decided then to give Celergen a try. And the reason why I decided to give Celergen a try was because it was a natural supplement. It wasn't medication, it wasn't drugs. And I was due for my next bone density scanning in 6 months. So not 3 months, but I decided to give it a try for 6 months. Right, so my next bone density test was actually scheduled in July 2025. Alright, I started Celergen in January 2025, but I didn't go in July because I was due for a holiday in August. As with all,
Sounds about right.
Cancer survivor, right? Actually, going for medical check is the scariest thing. We don't want to, hear of relapse or whatever. I didn't want to spoil the family holiday. So I said, okay, never mind. Come back from holiday, then I go for the scan. But when I come back, call the doctor, his appointment was all full. I could only get an appointment in October. When I went for the test, I was surprised, as you can see here. For the very first time, my osteoporosis reading reversed. All right? I was officially out of osteoporosis. I'm still in the osteopenia range, but that's a lot better than osteoporosis. So right now, I'm actually back to strength training. All right? And I'm still consuming Celergen.
Well done.
Yes.
So if there's one thing you want to share with people here, what would it be?
So basically, I think one thing is we are not invincible. Anything can happen to any one of us anytime. And I realized that all along I was doing what we call reactive care, which means caring for our body only after something has happened. So my biggest discovery was that preventive wellness is actually a lot more powerful. So right now, my husband and I, we are very, very committed, to living life differently, putting our well-being as a priority.
So go forth and share with more people, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
So we hear a lot about cancer these days, yeah? And osteoporosis, cancer, 3 highs, okay?